Yeah, we have I think a lot of the West thinks of training primarily in just academic terms, that you go to a school, you complete that curriculum, you reach a certain level in that curriculum in terms of your understanding of it, and then some kind of certificate or diploma is bestowed upon you, and you completed your work. And so oftentimes Second Timothy 2:2, I've seen it used for like seminaries and colleges where they're focusing on this academic piece and saying, hey, if you can get through this curriculum, you are prepared. And I think that focus has created a monolithic single lane, that academic achievement is equal to ministry formation. But really, when you dive into Second Timothy 2 and even pull out a little bit to the book of Second Timothy, to the book of First Timothy, to even books like Philippians, you begin to see that there was something much deeper. The call of Paul wasn't to just inform people of truths and then ensure that they could regurgitate that truth back. It was that they were to imitate Paul, that he was in their life, and that he's saying, imitate me, follow me. 2 times in Philippians, he says this at the end of chapter 3, and then at the end of kind of almost the end of chapter 4, he says, follow me, imitate me. What you've learned from me, what you saw from me, what you heard from me, what you received from me, do it. So the realization, and especially zeroed in on 2 Timothy 2:2, the key word that sometimes we look at is, we look at the guy, right? The faithful man who can train others, and we say, oh, they have to be able to teach and pass it on. But the word that we sometimes bypass is the word entrust. And entrusting carries with it something deeper than informing. It doesn't say inform people. It says entrust to them. I always think of the word entrust when I think about when our kids were little. And I remember when my first child was born, and she had gotten to an age where we could have our first babysitter. And my wife and I were going to go out on our first date in however long that was. And I remember this feeling of like insecurity, like I'm leaving this baby with this person, with this girl, this 16-year-old girl. And I can remember, like, I didn't realize I would be this way, but man, I was just telling her everything I could tell her about my baby, like saying way more than my wife was saying. It was like, well, remember this, and if this happens, and this is before cell phones. So like, here's the restaurant we're going to, here's the movie theater we're going to, these are the phone numbers. Like, anything happens, somebody knocks on the door, man, you put this stick here, they'll block the door. Like, I'm going, like, if the terrorists come, here's what you got to do. And that element of recognizing that I'm entrusting my child to this 16-year-old girl. And he's saying, Timothy, what you receive from me in this entrusting, like, I entrusted to you the gospel, and you went on with this journey with your life and all these things. Now you entrust it to others, and you can't entrust by informing. You entrust through relationships. You entrust through knowing the person, being in the culture, being in the context. So I think it's much richer than informing. And I think that gets lost sometimes in the West.